Hey folks, Marty Duda here, and I'm with Michelle Bakker, who runs a company called Evolve. She's a lifestyle coach. She's a music manager. She's been doing a lot of work overseas with a lot of musicians, and she's been back in New Zealand for a couple of years now. And we've been talking a lot lately, and we decided with all the negativity that's going on, especially in New Zealand with COVID and with people getting frustrated, that we needed to talk about something that was and offer some solutions that were a little more positive than just whinging. So that's what we're here to do today. So hi, Michelle.
Hey, Marty.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
All righty. So tell me a little bit about this, what you're doing. Are you aiming your lifestyle coaching at musicians specifically, or is it for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much open to all, but
Right.
Because I've spent sort of the last 20 years, in the music business, managing musicians and develop artisan development and so forth, I just tend to kind of like attract musicians, I guess, into my zone. But
Right.
it's really, Evolve is really it's a counseling session, it's a coaching session to help creatives figure out how they can be who they are in the time that we're in.
Yeah. So the time that we're in is rather unique. So
Yes. Yeah,
people are going through stuff that they haven't had to go through before. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so like up until sort of like the pandemic, most of my work was really about social media. So it was about, it was amazing to sort of like discover how many musicians were so afraid of putting themselves out there across the socials. No one's going to want to see this another post from me. No one's going to want to hear about me. And so I spent a lot of time working with them in that zone. And then when the pandemic hit, I've found people reaching out to me, not just for how do I get my music out there, because the music business has just changed so much. I mean, pre-pandemic, everyone was like, oh, hey, can we get a record deal? And they were all about sort of like the end result of getting a record deal and not really understanding that, hey, there's a journey, there's a process. But now with the pandemic, Marty, it's just like people are, that I'm finding anyway, are just struggling to want to even be their best and even put their music out there in a time like this. So many people I know are canceling their releases because they're like, well, if I put this out, people might laugh at me or think, oh, she's full of herself, because I'm releasing music at a time when I should be feeling really angry and really, frustrated. So what I'm doing is just, I kind of figure it out when it's in front of me. So with all these years of working with musicians and being in the industry, I've managed to become a yoga teacher along the way and a meditation teacher and a life purpose coach. So when I now talk to people, I'm just kind of picking up on them when I'm in front of them, and helping them to believe more in themselves and give them ways of feeling hopeful, which I'm finding is really quite exciting, I must say, to be able to get feedback from artists saying, oh my God, I actually feel like I can, or I'm hopeful, because they all sit there and look at what's around them on the socials, and everything just looks like amazing and blah, blah, blah. And so, everyone's kind of like shrinking away, going, oh, I'm not good enough. And what I think I'm able to do is just to help them even rewind that thought process and go back to the fact that, hey, is this something that you just can't not think about? Like writing songs. How often are you writing songs? And I'll get people saying, that's all I'm doing.
Well, it's interesting because you and I both talk to musicians all over the planet for different reasons. And so some people are dealing with the lockdown as like a godsend, like, oh, I finally have time to breathe and I can sit and relax and being chilled. Others are completely stressed out. I talked to a hard rock band from LA today. They were like on the way up at the beginning of 2020, and then everything stopped. And now they lost all that momentum and they got to start from ground zero again with this album that they're releasing in a couple of days. But so is that unique to the States, say, or is that similar to what people are going through in New Zealand?
I mean, I when I have conversations with clients or with musician friends, I just find it such a positive time because you've got the eyes and the ears of everyone because everyone's online right now, right?
Yep.
So I think it's a really fruitful time to be busy, but I think that the key point here, Marty, is not just releasing a song, not just releasing a video. You've got to be engaging, so when musicians or people sitting back going, oh, well, I've just got this new song, I'm going to put it out, and nothing's happened. It's just like, well, how are you engaging with your audience? How are you building up that connection? And that's what is positive. That's what you can do through this pandemic and for free.
Yep.
There's so many possibilities and so many places of inspiration that you can go into in this time of that we're in and share it. So I see it as a really positive time, but I think it's all about that getting real. And that's something that I think that I share a lot with artists, because being real, it doesn't set you up for any kind of falls. Do you know what I mean? These expectations that musicians have, well, we all have, right?
Yes.
So be real. And if this is truly what you love, if this is truly what you're excited to do and you can't stop thinking about it, do it. But know it's a journey.
Right.
And I think with this pandemic then affecting the live side of things, that's just been such a hard place for musicians to go into, not being able to perform. But then, they've found ways of doing it all online. I mean,
absolutely.
Wow. I mean, it's just like, and I found it really cool because there's certain musicians that I've not met, right? And they've been doing all the lives on Instagram, and I feel like I know them. I feel like they're.
Well, a good example is like Amanda Palmer, who found herself stuck in New Zealand at the beginning of 2020. And suddenly, but that's a person who knows how to use social media, certainly. And so she's made the best of it. She's like, okay, I'm going to move into Waiheke Island, and I got the kids and the husband, and we're all doing our thing, and everybody all around the planet knows. But what if you're 21 years old, you want to be a musician, you kind of feel that you've done a couple of little things, but now you feel a little bit lost and kind of left out and kind of isolated, which is what a lot of us are doing. So what do you recommend in that situation? First thing I would say is reach out to other people that are sort of in your situation, right? So if I was a musician, I was in Wellington, and I could quite easily be starting to kind of feel really shitty about everything that was going on. I would try to find someone that in my zone, right, in Wellington or whatever, and I would make contact, right? So I would just start to try to talk to someone, right? Because once you start to talk to someone, and you go, oh my God, you're feeling the same? Yeah, it sucks, right? And so that helps, right? When you start to talk. Now, if you're a musician and you might be a little bit shy to do that, you've got to be able to pick yourself up and find that way to do that. The other thing is start writing down. I know this sounds really, really cliche. 2 things. Start writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. Right.
Just honestly, wake up. You're 21, wake up and go, you know what? I'm grateful for this cup of coffee that I'm having. I'm grateful that I can play the guitar. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for, because that will shift your mindset. And what we've got to understand is it's up to us, Marty. That's what's so hard now, is that it's up to the 21-year-old to find that place in themselves, which is what you're asking.
Yep.
To be able to pick themselves up, to put themselves out there. As a manager, you can't do that.
Right.
As a record company, you can't do that. So if those people are sitting at home waiting for someone to come along and wave that magic wand, that's just, it might happen, it may not. And the other thing is, this is a really helpful tool, and it's super easy. It takes like a minute or 30 seconds. A minute. Set your phone, for 1 minute, and just write down all the thoughts. Write down all the things that you're thinking about right now, right? Just write it down. You'll be so surprised, and it'll be hopeless, excited, inspired, angry, whatever it is, then take a look at that list, right? Take a look at it and then cross out all the negatives.
Right.
You might be left with 5 positives. Focus on those.
Cool. All right. Now I'm going to give you a chance to plug yourself. So if somebody's feeling like they need some help or they're looking for some help, how can you help them?
Great. So basically reach out to me, right? First things first, via my social media, I'm on Instagram and Facebooks and stuff. Reach out to me. And if you're truly, 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 truly serious about, wanting to evolve, with your position, there is a small fee that I charge now. And I'll request like half of that up front. And the reason I do that is because then I find that then they're really serious about wanting change. You can't do a call for completely,
Right. Nope.
for love.
Yep.
Because honestly, there's something magical that happens when someone pays a little bit of money for something. They go, right, I'm serious. I want to figure this out because I can't, I know I'm a good singer. I know I'm a good songwriter. Right? I want her to help me.
Right.
So they get hold of me, pop something, deposit, and then they book a session with me. And we do it online, on the phone, in person. And there's no commitment. It's like if that works, whatever came out of that, then they'll book another one. And I've done quite a few sessions, Marty, with musicians who think that they've come to me for management. And I've had a conversation with them and they've realized they don't actually need a manager right now. They need this.
Right.
They need someone that they can have completely for an hour, one-on-one like this.
Yep.
And I'll have asked you to send, if you're a musician, I'll ask you to send me a song and a video or something like that and your socials.
Yep.
So before our call, you see, this is the magic. Before you and I jump on our call, I've done my homework.
Gotcha.
Right? Yep. So that little bit of deposit that you've popped into my account, right? I sit there and I listen and I go into my space and I'm like, wow. So when you call me, I'm all yours.
Gotcha.
And then I just will, for an hour, will help you unpack whatever it is that's holding you back. I'll offer you solutions and practical tools that you can do yourself to create change.
Right.
In your life.
Cool. Excellent. Well, that's going to add some positivity and hopefully help things out, because you and I have been talking and we both have friends who are like going down these rabbit holes and getting all stressed out about everything that's going on around them. So quickly to wrap up, for somebody who's just going, oh my God, I can't take this anymore. Every time I read the paper, every time I watch TV, somebody's going on about something. What can they do immediately to give themselves a little break?
Well, you've got to let go of what you can't control.
Right.
Like you've really got to let go. I'm not saying that you need to agree with, and I'm just saying you've just got to see it. You've got to let go because you can't control it. And the only thing that you can control is how you respond to it. So I'm saying just let go, switch it off, and look at something that you can control in your life. And work on that rather than what you can't control, because it'll do your head in. You'll get sick.
Yeah. We don't want that. Hopefully,
we don't want that. We don't want that. We want joy.
People
and
feel better.
Yeah, totally. And and someone come in, and we want everyone to just be, having a wonderful time. And yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you for all this. Hopefully, we'll put numbers up and all that so people can get a hold of you, and hopefully that will help things out immensely. So
awesome.
All righty.
Thanks, Maddie. See you soon. Bye.